June Mayor and Council meeting to order. Councilwoman Meeks is not here. She is completing a trip to Europe. She was, I think, in Scotland, and that what you said, being in Scotland whenever they had the bombings over there in London. So she was, I think, a little shaken up from that. But in talking to her the other day on another matter, she's fine. She's had a big time. So that's why she's not here. She told me to let you guys know that she missed it, but she's having a good time in Europe. She'll be back before long. Let's stand. I'll ask Councilman Bradford to give the invitation.
Heavenly Father God, I just thank you, God, for this beautiful day that you've given us to gather together and do the business of the city of Lafayette. God, I just thank you tonight for each and every employee of the city and for each and every citizen. God, we know, God, that Lafayette is not just a place on a map, God, but we know that it is the citizens that make and the employees that make the city what it is, and we thank you so much for them. God, we just want to pray tonight for Judy on her travels. Yes, you be with her and bring her home back to us safe. God, I just ask that you be with us tonight as we do the business of the city, and let our will be your will. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, welcome to the meeting. Another quick note on the flag. Wednesday is Flag Day. You want to get your flags out flying. I've already got mine out. Pretty incredible symbol of the free country that we live in. Visitors and approved minutes from the May 8th meeting and the special called May 18th meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? A motion and a second. All those for approval of the minute? Yes.
I've not reviewed the May 18th. For some reason, I was thinking I wasn't here for that one. But I can't vote as to May 18th.
Okay, so
I can't either.
we'll vote on individually for the, we'll ask for a motion for the May 8th minutes.
Judy was here, so May 18th, we'll probably just have to wait.
unless the mayor wants to break the tie.
Won't have any problem breaking up time. We'll get that.
Just do it.
Sure, it would be two. I think abstentions are made.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for May 8th.
Second. A motion and a second from May 8th. Thank you for reminding me of that. All those for approval of the May 8th minutes, raise your hand. Motion carries, and we will wait on the special call minutes. 5:18 minutes for the July meeting. Thank you for bringing that up. You're right, I forgot about that. Visitors and guests, Mr. Talent.
I moved back to the mountains from the Gulf Coast of Texas about 2.5, 3 years ago and bought a place here in Lafayette 2 years ago. This was my great-grandfather's hometown. And first of all, I love Lafayette. It's a great town.
Thank you, we do too.
But what this city pulled off with the Honeybee Festival was absolutely astounding. I didn't sell a lot of product. I'm a writer, novelist. I have 2 novels and another book that I was selling, plus watercolor artwork that I do. But I covered my expenses. But the greatest thing was that the amount of literature that I gave out during that day, my Facebook page and my website have not slowed down. And I just wanted to thank the city for all the hard work, because I know it was a lot of hard work and a lot of effort, a lot of expense doing it. But it was great, fantastic, keep keep up the good work.
Glad that you're back. You moved from where?
From Orange, Texas.
Okay. We're glad to have you up here in the mountains, even though it's not real cool today.
I got tired of hurricanes.
I can understand that. It's good. Thank you. On that note, since he's opened it up, it was an amazing event. The City of Lafayette employees and the volunteers really did a great job. I came back into town Sunday morning, came to church Sunday morning, and it looked like that nothing had occurred here. It was absolutely amazing. I didn't know what I was going to find. I know what I saw when I left, but the employees and the volunteers really did a great job, and I'd like to tell you that it went exactly how we thought it would. It was overwhelming from what we thought it was. It was absolutely amazing. City manager is a big reason that thing was as successful as it was. I'll just be honest. It took everybody, but the city manager, from its inception, took it and ran with it. He and Scott Underwood did an awful lot of work on that. So when you see those guys, you need to thank them. But everybody hopped in. Everybody hopped in. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, can I add to that, people are very quick to come to council meetings and tell us how unhappy they are. It's very rare for somebody to come and say thank you. So that's not unnoticed. Thank you, Richard.
It is. Anybody else? Only through break.
Right, yeah, only good stuff.
Old business, community pride update.
We've gotten the parking lot paved with the lake. We're still working on the dock. The framing has been done on the floating dock sections, and the challenge that we've got now is getting the pilings drilled for the dock.
It would have been easier to do in February, wouldn't it?
When the lake was down. Maybe work before then. But well, believe it or not necessarily, because we tried to drive them with the tracking that we have, and most of the companies that I've called that do this pile driving, they do it from a launch. So we actually couldn't. But we're still trying to. Obviously, it's a really busy time of year. And most of these dock builders have their rig set up on a lakeside, either Lake Wise or the Tennessee River or something like that. And while they can be transported, there's quite a bit of work in collapsing the unit, hauling it down the road, and concern about whether or not we've got deep enough water for the boat or barge to sit out there and drive the pile. So we're still working on that. There's an option for us to purchase a pile driver and build a frame to do it in-house. We prefer not to do that. If it comes down to it, I think that's an option. But there's a guy in Chattanooga that has the ability to enter from the shore and drive them. It's just very deep. I'm trying to get it down. So, still working on that. The cleanup effort, a lot of what we talked about for a while continues to press forward. Mr. Gottlieb, I'm not sure how many nuisance abatement cases we've got. Is it 9 in the works right now?
I believe so. That's pretty close.
In various stages throughout the legal process. Still a lot of people doing it on their own, cleaning the property up on their own. Still got some good momentum there.
Thank you, sir. Upcoming events under new business. June the 19th, next Monday, will be Municipal Court. Freedom Festival is June the 30th, Friday, June the 30th. with the Freedom Fest run the next morning for those of you that are 5K or 10K or even 1K. I made 1K walk. Freedom Festival is at the Recreation Center. Have free swim from 5 to 8. Old Timers baseball game versus the middle school at 7 o'clock. Is it softball though that they play?
Play baseball.
They play baseball. There you go. 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Oh, that's right. That changed for 7 to 9. Championship wrestling in the gym. I don't think any of us are on the card yet. Wayne may be. But it's free from 7 to 9 in the gym. There's a cornhole tournament for the first 20 teams from 7 to 8. And there is an eating contest from 8 to 8:15. We're not sure exactly what we're going to eat yet.
Crystals.
We are going to eat crystals.
Crystals.
So you never know.
Are they good and steamed?
They may end up coming down here,
They're
and
sponsored.
ESPN may down here, this may usurp the Coney Island, Nathan's hot dog eating
I
contest.
can't eat for 48 now, so.
You'll be a winner. A winner in the sense of eating so many, a loser in the sense of eating so many also. Already have 50 to 60 vendors,
Just what if they're gonna do.
Right now, we're at 28.
28 vendors. So far, on the stage, Campbell Station from 5:30 to 7:30, from 8 to 10 at the Aunt Betty Band will play, and then at 10 o'clock or thereabouts, as soon as it's dark enough, we will have fireworks with patriotic music. That's the schedule for the Freedom Festival, which is the 30th, and then the fun run, or the Freedom Fest run, the second annual Freedom Fest run is the next morning at the Rec Center. Those of you that are running can pick up your package, I think, from 4 to 8 on Friday.
Can I ask a quick question about that, Mayor?
You may.
Are we gonna, and I mean, I don't always catch everything that's on the sign, but I've had a couple of people talk to me. The Honeybee Festival was so big and so, it was promoted so heavily, and it's right before the Freedom Festival. I've had people say, wait, are y'all doing that this year? Because they hadn't seen anything.
Because signs are being printed right now.
Signs go up this week, I think.
Yes.
Because I'm afraid we're going to have to work a little extra hard this year because people got confused with the Honeybee Festival and wonder if we're still doing it. So make sure we probably need to make sure we do a real blast on that, make sure it gets out there.
Okay.
Because not everybody comes to the meetings to hear us talk about it.
So yes, we are having one. We'll get it out. DDA meeting, the next DDA meeting is July the 10th, and July the 17th is municipal court. So those are the upcoming events we'll talk about. Moving the July council meeting right now, as a matter of fact. Item B, we need to move the July council meeting. We don't need to move it to the 17th because that is court. I think last year, did we move it to Tuesday after? Tuesday after, so the 18th? That's right. So, how's everybody that's here for the 18th? The Tuesday? The following Tuesday, are y'all okay?
I make a motion to move the July council meeting to July 18th.
I second.
Have a motion and a second to move the council meeting to July the 18th, because of meetings that will be away out. All those for moving the meeting to the 18th at 6:30, raise your hand. Motion carries. Meeting is at the same time, 6:30 on the 18th. That's good that we got that. I have a couple of appointments to be made to the Cherokee Regional Library. Do we need a motion on this, or can I just appoint the city manager? I think we have been, having a motion. We can do that. This year, the current 3-year term of Mary Beth Knox and Marty Haywood have ended Both have been excellent and faithful board members, and they would like to be reappointed. It is my wish that we reappoint Mary Beth Dykes and Marty Hegwood to 3-year terms starting July the 1st for the library. Also, would like next time one of us to hop on that thing whenever we get somebody else in there. We talked, I know we talked about that before, we need to get with them, but I think it would be good for one of us, because we've got a pretty big vested interest in there, but these are two great ones here, so I'll entertain a motion now.
I'll make a motion that we put Mary Beth Dykes and Marty Hegwood. Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion.
I want to say that Marty Hagwood is my mother-in-law. I don't have any, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm not gonna abstain because I don't have any conflict with this. But I want to just be transparent and let everyone know that she's my mother. She's a very good mother. Best one I got.
And it's not by blood.
Not my blood.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? There being no further discussion, I call the question. All those for Mary Beth Dykes and Marty Hegwood for 3-year terms starting July the 1st for the library, raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0. Sir. Item E, intergovernmental contract. Item D, I'm sorry, intergovernmental contract with the Housing Authority. Housing Authority currently owns a 2006 Colorado pickup truck that they are wanting to, they don't have a need for it, and they want to transfer that to the city of Lafayette in lieu of sometimes the utility locations that we do, locating the utilities that we do for them. That's all that this is, an intergovernmental contract for them to give us the truck and for us to locate utilities whenever someone calls and needs utilities located. I think Mr. Gottlieb is taking a look at this and everything's
That is correct.
okay with this. So do we have a motion to accept the truck, the 2006 Colorado from the Lafayette Housing Authority?
I'll make a motion to accept 2006 Colorado Lafayette Housing Authority.
Second? Motion and second. Any discussion?
It is for a 2-year. It's not for long.
Correct. 2 years, not like, but it's not like, it's not like that we haven't done this for them for forever anyway. I think it's like going along. We'll locate them. Charge them a little bit. Yeah, for 2 years. Have a motion and a second. All those for accepting the truck, raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0. Item E. Honeybee Festival. Already talked about the Honeybee Festival a little bit. City Manager?
The reason it's on the agenda is primarily to talk about next year. If the first decision to make is, are we going to do this again? And if so, what date will we do it? And we'd like to go ahead and get to work on sponsorship and headliner, as well as just the other high-level planning that really should be started soon. So I guess what I would ask, and I guess I can, we've held an after-action review with the leadership, the planning team that put this festival together. We talked about what went right and talked about some opportunities that some of us saw. Some are ideas to grow it. Some are ideas or things that some of us behind the scenes noticed that I don't necessarily think the public did, but we saw some opportunities to make it better, make it run a little more smoothly. And part of the discussion was, when do we do it? We obviously had put a lot of thought into last year placing the date, but we were open to, moving the date this year. But really overwhelming from, and Mr. Powell sitting in the room here, overwhelming, what I heard in the room is, I think we've set our date. It's the first Saturday of June. And
Next year, that'll be June the 2nd.
Yes, sir. And it'll become just sort of an expectation that candidly will help the market, because people will they'll just start to plan for the first Saturday of June. So that would be my recommendation on behalf of the planning team, would be June 2nd next year.
Does Riverbend ever change? Is it always on the first
It's
weekend? or
this
when?
weekend, whatever starts,
weekend.
yeah, the last week. That's when it's always occurred.
Around
It's
9th of
always-
June,
The second weekend in June? So that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, we
is
talked to them
if
about
we do
that.
the first weekend in June, we'll always be 1 week before.
Will be after the 1890 days before.
As long as our formula's on the same formula theirs is, we're using the same.
I make a motion that we continue the Honeybee Festival and we have it on June 2nd, 2018.
First Saturday in June.
First Saturday.
Next year, that'll be the June 2nd.
Well, it could just be a one-off, but we bought those signs that say annual, so I guess we might as well. Might as well.
But we didn't put first name. We just put annual, so we can use them next year.
That's what I'm saying, we've already invested in signs. Already invested in signs, might as well do it again.
Motion in a second, all those for setting the date for June
I'll
the 2nd.
second. I'll second.
Yeah, he does.
Beecher second.
Oh, okay.
Wayne said that, I'll take my back.
No, we didn't hear it.
All those for
I think he-
Beecher second.
Okay, all right, I was
You
looking
can
for
put me in down
confirmation.
as a third if you want to.
No, that's fine.
All those for June the 2nd, for the 2018 Honeybee Festival, raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0.
So we just set it for, it will always,
Yes,
it's the first weekend in June.
First next year.
First
Next
Saturday.
week, June 2nd. Thank you, guys. GPS Crumble for meter reading. City manager.
Mayor, we talked about, we had a utility meeting earlier today, we discussed a lot of these issues. This one is, it is a reading, what it would allow us to do is GPS our meters, our water meters and our gas meters and sewer line cleanouts. So we'll have them on the system, GPS, and then we can, store routes and, when we have our, if we get new meter readers, then they can plug in where they need to go, not have to guesstimate around town and get in there.
We've been doing a little of this already, right? And we've had meters.
We've had other meters, we've had electronic meters, but now this is gonna mount where all the meters are.
Yeah, this is inside their car or on phone or a mobile device that will show them exactly where they're going, and hopefully we can even later on track, where they're at, where they've been and stuff like that. So this will get us started, and then will help out with, some of our meter readers are getting retirement age and stuff, so as they retire, new meter readers, they need to know where they're going and run the systems.
This will help us establish set routes for meter reading, so that as we're not relying solely on, for lack of a better phrase, tribal knowledge, just inside knowledge of, well, this person's been running this route for years. It will allow us to literally be able to give a device to a new employee and let them say, well, this is the route. And we know where every meter is and what the route is to read those meters. My understanding right now is that the 3 meter readers we have, they just know where to go. This would allow us to record that information to pass on to later generations.
And there's a lot of memory difficult sometimes where, even the meter readers that know them sometimes forget, or somebody moves dirt, comes mud, so it can be just collect the data, capture the exact locations.
I'll make a motion that we approve the bid from Tremble or Navigation and Electronics for $85.60 for handheld Geo 7x Tremble.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the GPS system. Any discussion? We can knock out the meters. There being no further discussion, I call the question. All those for buying the GPS from Trimble, raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. That's what they do. Item G.
Mayor, I'll talk about this one also. This is tree trimming. We do this every year. This year even more, our electric department's been trying to replace a lot of poles, and so we have to trim as much trees as we'd like them to. So we've contracted with, or we're looking to contract with, the low bid would be Trees Unlimited at $89.53 an hour. Gets us a 3-man crew, bucket truck and a chipper. And then our electric department will be deciding, of course with David, will be deciding what trees are being trimmed, to get them on the route. And stuff over here. Is there, we're looking to spend about $50,000? Up to 50,000. So if they come in and trim, we can do it for less than we'll do it for less. I'll make a motion that we contract with Trees Unlimited at $89.53 an hour and not spend over $50,000 for a tree trim.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Motion and a second to enter into agreement with Trees Unlimited for up to $50,000 budgeted item. Is that a budget? That's a budget item.
And I want to say, on behalf of the utility committee, every time that this comes up, one of the questions that we always talk about every year is this something that we can do in-house cheaper? That's something that we really pushed over the past few years, and all our departments is. And we're going to talk about something later tonight, I think, about in-house work, and that's what we want to do. And it's something that we constantly evaluate, but it takes specialized equipment to do this, and we have a full-time staff that's busy keeping the power on. And right now, it just doesn't. ECG has negotiated this rate with Trees Unlimited for a lot of different cities, so we're locked. We're able to take advantage of the bid price that ECG negotiated with Trees Unlimited. And I just don't. When you talk about hiring full-time employees to trim trees and the type of equipment that we would need at this time, I think it's more financially responsible to pay somebody to do it than to try to do this in-house. We'd have to use, for instance, one thing is we'd have to use our bucket trucks, which have insulation in them, and they're made for working on transformers and lines, and so whenever you cut, it gets chipped. Whenever they cut the trees, it gets chipped down in the bucket, and it's not made to be a bucket truck. They're too nice to be getting chips in, it hurts the insulation, and so that's just one example of how we don't really have the right equipment to trim trees on a massive scale in the city. So that's why we're making that recommendation this time.
Any other discussion? No further discussion. All those for entering into the agreement with tree trimming, raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0 for tree trimming. One vote. Item H, electric cities of Georgia pole attachment.
Still working on it. That's kind of tied in with Comcast agreement.
Yeah.
We're still back and forth.
I make a motion that we table the item H.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Have all those for tabling the electric cities of Georgia poll attachment agreement, raise your hand. Motion, Chris, you in on that? Good. Motion carries 4-0. I thought you were. We'll pick that up in July. Item I, high pressure gas regulator station.
Mayor, I'm gonna do this on behalf of the utility committee. We are talking about, if you looked at the golf course, out on the hole that's right beside right beside South Main, across from the Dollar General, there's this little brick building. You can see the gas line there. That's actually a high pressure gas regulator station where we talked about it before in here. There's a 300-pound line that comes up from Somerville through Trine to Lafayette. And that is the regulator station where it goes from a 300-pound line to a 35-pound line, I believe, right? So it's a very important, it's a very important place for our natural gas system. It leaves there and branches out throughout the rest of the city. So that regulator station needs some work. These pipes get, the valve and the pipes and the regulator, they all have a natural life. They don't last forever. And we have pushed all of those components to their max. And it's best for our system if we go ahead. We talked about it ad nauseum in the utility committee meeting. I think it'd be best for our system if we go ahead and make the repairs now before anybody mandates that we do that, because that would be the next step. We're not responsible, police ourselves. The state will come in and tell us to do it. But we've looked at the work. It's expensive work because what they have to do is they have to. It's not an option to cut off that valve and do the work, because that would literally stop the gas to the entire city. So they're going to have to come in and keep the gas flowing while they work and put a workaround regulator in place while they're working on the main station. So it's expensive. The parts are very expensive because it's the main gas 300-pound gas line in. But given that, we do have, this is 100% in line with what we need to do in order to, we talked about reinvesting in our system. It's just the cost of doing business. I think it's the responsible thing to do is to lease that now. So that being said, I make a motion that we accept the bid from SAP Engineering to, that is SAP, isn't it?
The engineering portion.
That's right. And then Southeastern to do the work out there.
I think this is for
Wait, hold on.
Southeastern, right? This is for
Yes, I'm sorry, Southeastern. I'm getting the names
Southeastern.
mixed up.
And the engineering, they're both listed in the both project. So it's a contractor bid.
81,000.
And the SAP Engineering, right?
That's right.
SAP Engineering of 8,000.
Right.
So it's 81,000 and then 8,000 for the engineering, right? Just for
89,000 total.
Yeah, 89,000 total. I picked golf balls into that thing before.
That is the main gas line.
I picked golf balls into the main gas line regulator, I promise you. Any other discussion or any discussion? Wayne, have you ever put golf balls into it? Right on the green, didn't it? No further discussion. Do we have a motion and a second? I have a motion and a second. A motion and a second. All those for the parts for the high pressure regulator station with the engineering, raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0. Get that done. So, item J.
I already got that one. This is the system, kind of like we talked about for the meter reading. This is for, that one.
Yeah, computer model of the city's natural gas.
So this will give us a computer model and for 16,000 and be able, Wally, what was Jim, this was Jim's, right?
Yes.
What exactly, tell them what exactly that system's in.
Building, the engineers would take all of our information from our gas system, put it into a computer model, and which will enable them, if we want to know how when we can furnish customers, what conditions of flow and pressure anywhere in a given system. Once this thing is complete, balanced, and within a few minutes, they'll be able to tell us everything about our gas system. Or what if, say, call it, if we want to add a customer here, can we handle it, how much, and then how it affect the rest of our system?
And we have that a lot. I mean, we've had customers from on Highway 151 say, hey, how much would it cost to get to my chicken houses or this
Yes, sir. We currently have this in the water system, have computers, but it's something that everybody in that system has these days, and so we just need to catch up with technology and help us to be more efficient, understanding of our system.
I think it'd be good. I mean, we're looking to grow that gas system, and the more we want to be able to have good data.
Just tell us what we can do, what we can't do, and then what we might do if we can.
So what it'll allow us to do is basically, once we have all the data points entered, if we have somebody that comes in and says, I want to put a subdivision in here,
Know what load we can handle.
so we want to add 50 houses to this line, you could input the data into a what-if scenario in the computer, and it can tell you what impact it's going to have on our system. Could we supply that or not?
That's correct.
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we engineering services.
South
South
engineering.
SAP Engineering, agreement with SAP Engineering, provide us with a gas, infrastructure, engineering model for $16,000.
A motion to get into the technological business of helping us out with our gas system. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Computer model. Motion and a second, any discussion? Where's the money coming? Good question. Budgeted?
Attachment out there called budget allocation.
Let's see.
Covers all of the SAP
Yeah,
engineering.
there it is.
As well as the regulator station rebuild. So 25,000 is coming out of the city manager budget. 25,000 is coming out of capital that was in the electric budget. And 55,000 is coming out of the gas department budget from different line items there to cover the cost of this. And that's something we talked about in the utility committee meeting about. One option here was to wait until the next budget year, to wait until October to budget this. This, in particular, this gas regulator station, we have to do it in the summer because the bypass that we build around to keep gas flowing while we replace the existing regulators won't support the flow that we have during the winter. Plus, you put a lot more at risk when you're working on high pressure gas line during a high flow time. So it was either go ahead and figure out a way to fund it this year or wait until next summer. And really, given the condition of some of that line, we weren't comfortable putting this off until next summer. We also believe that the $81,000 quote is very favorable, and we probably won't have that same opportunity. One of the other bids that we got for the same work was $200,000.
Wow.
So
That's a big difference. Yeah, and it seems like, especially during the winter, every time we watch the news, some kind of natural gas explosions occurred somewhere. pretty good to get this taken care of now.
We're nowhere close to being in danger of that.
No, I know that. I know that.
They probably ain't gonna fall.
Unless you,
It'll
the
be
golf
all
ball really hard though.
I'm not sure that
There's
that
a lot of pressure coming from him, too.
I'm hoping
If that golf ball didn't cause its problem.
I'm hoping that that golf ball didn't cause it. I'm not sure that I ever found it.
Might still be in.
So we have a motion, an explanation, and a second as to where it's all coming from. Be sure you happy with that? That's good. Yeah, he had us a sheet up there with where it's all from. Any other discussion? No further discussion. I'll call the question. All those for the engineering model infrastructure, raise your hand. Motion carries. Y'all ready to get this? Awesome.
I'm waiting.
I was stretching.
Up a little bit.
That's good. Item K, the Shattuck Industrial Forced Main, more infrastructure.
Mayor, I'll handle this one. This is a utility committee heavy night. That's why it's Chris and I so much back and forth. But is there a chance you could put up the map, the Schweitzer engineering map? Do you have that by chance? In order to understand this motion, this business, you have to remember what you've always been told, which is that crap rolls downhill.
Yes.
There is a south part of Lafayette lies lower. Of course, we always want sewer lines to run with gravity because then you don't have to use energy. The southern part of Lafayette is lower than the water treatment plant, so we actually have to pump the sewage back to the water treatment plant from the southern part of Lafayette. So there's a station in Shattuck Industrial just south of the airport. It is time for us to, this has been on the capital improvement plan for several years for water and sewer. It is time to replace that. I'm not fear mongering. I'm not trying to say that it looks like it's going to go out. I'm just saying that this is the type of thing when it's time to replace it, it's irresponsible to sit on it for a very long time because sewage has to go somewhere. If we can't pump it back to the water treatment plant, we're in big trouble. I mean, we have spills, and the EPD gets very upset, and I'm sure surrounding property owners would get even more upset. And so here's what's so encouraging about this. Okay, what the sewer department has done is they've come to us, water and sewer, and they've said, you know what we think we can do? We think if you'll give us the time and you'll buy the materials, we think we can put a line in. We can replace this line. And so what they need us to do is approve the engineering. And if we can approve the engineering for this project, so they can get the specs, the permits, and the data that's needed, then they think that they can do this project instead of us sitting up here contracting out for $1.2 million or something like that. So, super proud of our water department because they just continue to come to us and say, let us do this. And so, so that being said, that's what we're talking about. That's why it's called a force main, because it's a main line. It's operating under force because there's actually a pump that's pumping it back. And we are, I make a motion that we enter into a task order number 17 with Schweitzer Engineering for them to make the necessary design phase documents, the erosion control plans, the permit applications, and all the other necessary work, administrative engineering work for our water and sewer department to be able to do this work in-house.
17,000.
Well, 17,000, but really, if you add up, there's some other things, some contingencies. I think there's a do not exceed of, let's see. We added it up before, Beach. You remember what that was when you said, look at the Around $35,000.
17 plus 15 plus 7 plus 75, whatever it is, got three.
It's around 35,000.
Yeah. Okay. Out of sewer compliance, water sewer compliance. For those of you that see that
Second.
compliance fee, motion in a second. For those of you that see that compliance fee on your bills, your water bill, this is what it goes for. It goes into a compliance fund, and that's the only time that we get that out. Is so that we can, that's when we do a lot of major infrastructure right now, is because we've got the money in water and sewer compliance to do that. Yes.
Mayor, the supplies for us to handle the two will become from that money. So,
Correct.
And then that, our workers will do it ourselves with the contractor now.
So, yeah, that doesn't include, we'll have to come back once we get the price of the products. There will be a bill out and
Boring under the railroad, boring under Shattuck Industrial. Likely we'll have to contract that because of the type, it's gonna be a case board. So when we get a little deeper into engineering, we'll bring back the cost estimate.
So we have a motion.
It's not gonna cost, the whole project's not worth that.
Correct. It's just the engineering part.
Right.
Engineering part. We have a motion and a second for engineering for the Force Main, Shattuck Industrial, all those for entering into that agreement with Schweitzer Engineering. Raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0. Item L.
Okay, this is
Spring Creek
kind of similar to then that we're talking about sewer. And we have a map. I think if you could show the map, please. Mr. Hamlin. Okay, so the Spring Creek Interceptor is a main sewer line. It's not a force main, but it is a very old, you're talking about a sewer line that runs all the way from, let's see, my goodness, runs all the way from Indiana and all the way down to West Patton? West Villanelle, that's right. It doesn't go all the way to Patton. So you're talking about, and it runs kind of along the railroad. It is a main, there are lots of tie-ins to this sewer line that was put in 1952 that is constructed of terracotta. It is beginning to fail. One of the problems when you have a main line or any line that's failing is that there's a lot of groundwater, and as the line begins to fail, especially you can imagine if there's a terracotta line that's underground in the dirt, you get infiltration. What that is when there's water that's in the ground that's just storm water that's just getting into the sewer line. Well, we have to treat all the water that comes through the sewer line just like it's waste. So if this line's got 30% infiltration, then what you're treating 30% of the water from that line, we should not be treating. It's a complete waste of money. Because if the line was sound, you wouldn't have to treat that water, it'd just be normal groundwater. So it's a huge problem from an infiltration standpoint. It's a huge problem for the fact it's a terracotta line from 1952. It's another problem because what we're trying to do, what we want to see, is development in West Lafayette and Linwood, what we call the Linwood area. And in order to have development, you got to have the infrastructure to support it. And this sewer line doesn't need any more attachments to it. We need to get to work on it.
No more stress.
That's right. And the reason I said all that, I laid it on really thick, is because it's true, number one. But number two, we're going to have to spend some money to do this. We need to decide, this council needs to decide, are we dedicated to redeveloping this city or not? Because you're looking at about a $1.2, $1.3 million project. It's gotta be done, in order for us to increase, if we're gonna develop that area and increase the load on the lines out there, it's gotta be done. I think, my personal opinion is it's irresponsible not to do it regardless, given the age of the line, the materials built out of it, the amount of infiltration that's happening. What I am going to propose tonight in the form of a motion is that we take the data that we have and that we apply for a GFA loan in the amount of, let's see, make sure I get it right, $1.236 million. If we do the application, which is all I'm proposing tonight that we do, it doesn't commit us to take the money or to spend any money. It's just the first step of this project. If we can't get approved, we can't afford, we don't have 1.2 million in the bank to fund this. They would have to be done with a GFA loan or some other financing. So all I'm proposing tonight is that we apply, just do the application and see what happens, and then come back and address that at a later date. But I do make that in the form of a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second to do an application for a GFA loan for $1.236,000 for the Spring Creek Interceptor project for sewage. Any discussion? If no discussion, I'll call the question. All those for us to apply for the GFA loan, raise your hand. Non-binding GFA loan, raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you from a guy that was on utilities as a councilman. Thank you guys for that, for all that you guys do. It's, there's tons of utilities that we have out there. It's good, but you do have to spend money on it from time to time. Item M, van for water maintenance.
Mayor, this is the last thing out of the utility committee. I know we've had a long night tonight. This one is a van, we're replacing a van that our Rorik, and he's our, what's his title? Maintenance technician. Our maintenance technician. He drives all the pump stations and checks them out on a daily basis. And he puts a lot of miles on. So the van he has now is, it's got over 200,000 miles on it, and it's needing some work and continuing to have work. I think it's even in the shop now, right? So we're looking to get him a new van that is budgeted, and the Water Department capital bid for fund. They got a bid from Jackson Chevrolet here in town for a 2017 3/4 ton regular wheelbase cargo van for $23,434. I'll make that in form of a motion.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second to get a new van from Jackson Chevrolet. $23,434 is a budgeted item, capital improvement budgeted item. Any discussion?
They look into purchase off-lease vehicle or program vehicle.
The program vehicle is going to be $400 cheaper than a used vehicle. Because of the government incentives that we're able to get through the state debt process and stuff like that, it's just one of those, it just made a lot of sense to do a new vehicle here. Plus the reliability, distance. He travels the entire water system all the way up to Chickamauga and all of our pumping stations. Felt like it made sense. I think we had 23.5 budgeted or 24 budget.
What are we gonna do that extra money?
Probably cut back on the GFA loan.
Perfect.
Say $400 or $500 on the GFA loan.
Perfect. Yeah, that'll get us down to 1.232 million.
No, it's not.
You're right. Mayor, I want to say that I am, maybe I shouldn't, because I don't want to change the impressions for the employees that are here, but I've been, some things, maybe a lot of things, I'm a broken record on when people get tired of hearing me talk about it, but I've been frustrated for years that the city will finance vehicles, because I feel like with our budget, it's silly to pay interest for something that's not, in the grand scheme of things, that big. I try to pay cash, I try to save and pay cash. I don't buy $24,000 vehicles in cash, probably, but I'm not the city. But we are finally, and I don't know if this is the first one I can remember, maybe we've done it a couple other times, and I've overlooked it, and I apologize, but I'm glad we're able to, that we have the cash reserved to be able to just, to not lease to own, just be able to buy this vehicle. So, good job. Nobody get any ideas, but thank you. It's been your frugal spending that has allowed us to do things like this.
It is true. It is true.
That 2 for 1.
Thank you. We have a motion in the second. Right. All those for buying the Chevrolet van from Jackson Chevrolet, raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0. That's all the new business that I have. But all we have, all the new business, then added anything. We will go to comments. Councilman Swanson.
Yes, I'd like to first off about the Honeybee Festival, which I wasn't able to, I had about a 2-hour window. I had to work that day, but I got here for a couple hours.
I saw you.
We knew we would see you. So.
I saw you here.
And, but I want to tell you, I didn't recognize Lafayette. Where am I at? You know, it was people everywhere, more vendors than I've seen ever in Lafayette and everything. But, you know, I want to thank Dave and Scott. The organization was unbelievable. I had plenty of rides. Anybody that was looking for a ride, all they had to do was turn left to right. There was a ride there. But it was organized wonderful. And our city workers went far and beyond work for that. I think David told me that, you know, they were asking volunteers for about 4 hours. I don't stay the whole time. They just put a lot of effort and time into it. But thank all of you. I've never seen anything as organized as that. And I went to Franklin, and Franklin is a very nice place, and they had a festival of fire, and, you know, it was okay. It wasn't like the country. It was very nice. Also, I spent the weekend in Gatlinburg. Our Lafayette High School team, which is an AAU team, went up there and played in the Rocky Top basketball tournament up there with everybody.
Good name.
Yeah, that was a little choking, but the thing is, they played up there, and they played, and they won the tournament up there with teams from Carolinas, Alabama, Texas. They won the whole tournament, and there's 4 tournaments that if you win one of the 4, you're eligible for the Nationals, and this was one of the 4. So they were eligible for the Nationals, but it's in Philadelphia, and there's no way we're going to be able to afford to go. We're not going to go to the Nationals, but this is their 5th tournament they won, and we got 8 players, and 7 of them go to Lafayette High School, and 1 doesn't. So this is our Lafayette High School basketball team playing this AAU and everything. So as a matter of fact, I told the coach to send you some information to that you have that and everything. And we're going to do it again next year and do the same thing. My son coaches and Scotty Russell coaches, and they're going to try to do some fundraisers and everything. Maybe next year we get the money up so we can go to the Nationals if we're fortunate enough to win the game. So I just want to let everybody know that the Fed's basketball team is really good.
Thank you, Councilman. I kept getting updates over the weekend. That was good. I was looking forward to it. Councilman Bradford?
Well, I'm sure everybody's going to say something about the Honeybee Festival. And I think it meant a little something different to all of us. You know, we all have our own takes on it. I don't go to a lot of festivals. But I couldn't believe what the city was able to pull off. I don't know what I was expecting.
But it wasn't that, was it?
No. But I think that I guess what I would like to say about it is that aside from thank you, I can't name everybody because I leave somebody off. People that might not be, people that weren't involved may not know this, and I just want to say this. The true success, I think, or the hidden huge success of the Honeybee Festival is not the festival itself. It's not the fact that the vendors had a great day, that Craig Morgan played great, and people sold out, and local vendors did a lot of business. All that happened. I think that the real success, the big success of the Honeybee Festival is that you have an event that had so much buy-in from the city and from private citizens, volunteers, and the leadership that was displayed. And I'm not just talking about, when I say leader, I don't mean your job title or how much you get paid. I mean true leaders that stepped up and made it happen. And the fact that people feel so good about what they were able to accomplish, that is the success of the Honeybee Festival. And now people have this feeling, everyone I've talked to that's involved has this feeling of success and pride and accomplishment. And we're living now in this afterglow kind of, we really did this, we can do something great. If we say we're going to do something, we can actually do it. Like it can happen, this belief. That is the big success. And now what we have to do is to be good stewards of that feeling and make sure that it's not squandered, and that we build on that and keep the momentum going. So that was what was so encouraging to me about the entire festival. And I want to thank everybody that was involved. And I'm so proud that I get to feel that feeling with you guys. Thank you.
Councilman Harmony?
I just think, everybody gonna say the same thing, basically, but it was a great success. Employees, all volunteers gave 100%. People will continue, seem like they try to help people when they needed to, but it's a great success. I'm proud to still get comments today about what it turned out. So thank all the employees and all the volunteers.
I'm definitely gonna talk about the festival. I was involved in, with the chamber doing the Williamson tunes. I helped out with Music on the Square. I've been to festivals and all over the place. And just to be there that day and be involved and talking to police officers that are out helping and city workers and seeing Jason running back and forth from this festival. So some of us don't even know there was a 30-team
32?
30 team baseball tournament going on at the same time as this Honeybee Festival. I mean, it was just a crazy day for Lafayette, and it was just awesome. I got the privilege to drive the band members back and forth to the hotel, so I got to drive through town a lot, back and forth. And I never got into crazy traffic. I mean, it never was. I even went and got the bus driver at, I think it was right before Craig went home. And I mean, traffic's just still fine. I mean, everybody was handling their business, and it was great to see. And after, I think the traffic got out of there pretty easy, and it wasn't, the trash was a little rough at the end, but it was a great day, great success for everybody involved. I wish Jim was still here, because he definitely, he pushed this thing with all his heart. And him, joined in with David and Kevin, and Kevin was here, and Scott, and everybody they deserve a huge round of applause from all of us. So, and thank you for hosting those ball tournaments. That was somebody outsider coming in and hosting tournaments, and us just participating, making money. So that's
Looking for stuff like that.
I left. I can just tell you, I left here at close to midnight, and drove through town, and McDonald's and Taco Bell line was out to the road. So it's crazy. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. City Clerk, Brenda? Brenda worked too. I saw Brenda was working. City Attorney? No report. City Manager?
Yeah, just, I know that we spent a lot of money, voted to spend a lot of money tonight on infrastructure, on utilities. It just kind of worked out that way. Some of this stuff has been building, and like a couple of the council members mentioned, most of these things have been on our 5-year capital plan for 15 years.
You're right. Just getting pushed back.
And I know it's a lot of money. We start talking about 1.2 million and $1 million and 300,000 and numbers like that. But just to, we're not unlike any other municipality in the country. And in that, we have a massive amount of reinvestment that's going to have to take place in infrastructure over the next 25 years especially. And as you start, we've talked about a strategic plan. We've shared the draft strategic plan a couple of times. When you start talking about the next 25 to 50 years of any organization, running the business, running the operation has got to be a big part of it. And just to put it in perspective, we're talking about a lot of big numbers, but the estimates that we've done to try to forward plan, I should have had the numbers in front of me right now, but what I remember is we believe that we're looking at $30 to $35 million in sewer replacement costs, likely in the next 25 to 30 years. Our water lines, we have far more water lines. I believe 200 or 205 miles of water main. And we estimate that's probably $100 million of water main that's going to have to be replaced. You try to figure out how long. A lot of our lines are about 70 years old, and EPA estimates that most of this water main will last about 100 years. So there again, you're looking at in the next 25 to 30 years, and I hope the number's high, and depending on how much we're able to do in-house, it likely is high. But you're also going to see material inflation over the next 25 to 30 years, so that probably offsets anything that we can do to control costs. And again, not that there's a lot of comfort to taking this, but we're not alone. This is something the entire country's facing, and that's not just utility lines. I could go on and talk about electric, which is probably another 30, and we're biting that. We're biting that off. We've tripled the pole replacement budget. The guys are out there replacing poles almost constantly if there's not some kind of problem, and then you can talk about roads and sidewalks on top of it. It's still infrastructure. So I'm just trying to I guess give my perspective on our infrastructure, and I also want to thank the council for having the courage to do this, because this is really core important stuff that's not free, and we'd all rather be spending money on something else. But I appreciate the commitment to trying to start catching up, and trying to eat this up. It's the same thing in plants. It's the same story in manufacturing plants. It's just been underinvested. And in some cases in this, I don't even know that you could blame it on underinvestment. It's just a reality of a lot of this system was put in at one time with a big influx of money. And it all happens to have probably about the same life. So we're just kind of, that's just my 2 cents.
Maybe this infrastructure, Trump will give us some money.
Just want to keep hoping.
I wouldn't bet on that. Yeah, it's my understanding that E.T. Barwick came, that's where a lot of the infrastructure, he paid for a lot of the infrastructure, so that's when I think a lot of it was done. And it's going to be needing replaced at about the same time, so we're not ahead, but we're at least trying to catch up, as David said. I have gotten nothing but positive compliments on that restaurant. And as your mayor, it's been pretty fun. It really has. I was sitting, first of all, I was worn out when I got home, and I didn't do what everybody else did. And I was worn out when I got home, but I was so pumped up. I think it was 3 o'clock, before 3 or 4 o'clock before I finally got to sleep. And when I woke up, I was still pumped up, and I got right up and got going. It was an absolutely amazing event. I was sitting at home the next day, and I get a text from Jan, and Jan says, hey, this guy was a vendor, and he called, and he wants you to call him. And I said, okay, here it goes. And then she texted later, by the way, it's positive. So, or before I called him. So I called him. The guy lives in Stone Mountain, and he's been doing it for 4 years. He's been a vendor for 4 years. He's been doing festivals all over the place for 4 years, and he said, I just want you to know now that it was the top festival that I've ever been to, from top to bottom. From the time we got there, people helping us move stuff. He said, we've never had people that have helped us carry stuff to get our tent set up. We've never had people that have called us, asking us ahead of time what power we needed. Vernon Barnett did that. He called. He said, Cindy Hollingsworth called and continued to call to check to be sure that they had everything that they needed. He said, that's never, ever happened at a festival. He said, you tell your police. He said, police. He said, you tell your police that I was a policeman for 15 years. They did a great job. And I thought whenever we left, whenever we got ready to leave, I said, well, it's going to take us forever to get out of here. No, we got right home. Tommy Langford called and said, hey, it took me quicker than it normally does. I got home quicker than I normally do, going the way that I went to get home. He said, there was, I said, well, we'll have trouble getting all these people out of here. I don't know where they parked. I have no idea how they ended up getting here. But it was just an amazing job. And I wanted to tell you, when that guy called and talked to me, it was good. It was good. And I've been making the TV rounds for the Freedom Festival, and we are having a Freedom Festival. I've been making the rounds for that. Every one of them, however, without solicitation, every one of them said, well, I heard you had a heck of a festival down there a couple of weeks ago. Can we talk about that before we talk about the Freedom Festival for a minute? And I said, yeah, if you force me to, we'll talk about that a little bit. So it's just an incredible event. And I think so, that being said, we need to enter into executive session
Make a motion.
for real estate litigation and personnel.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. We will enter into executive session, and I'll just see you guys. Yep, I'll be about 15.
I want a transcript.
You got it on, Brenda? We're back into regular session. Councilman Bradford, I think you got a couple of items we need to take care of.
Yes, sir. I make a motion that the city accept the donation of the property located at 704 McLemore Street contingent upon the homeowner entering into the donation agreement.
Have a motion and a second to accept some property. Any discussion? All those for accepting the property rating. Motion carries 4-0. Item 2.
Make a motion that the city ratify the contract entered into between the city manager and the American Stage Company LLC.
Is there a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. All those for entering into the agreement, raise your hand. Motion carries 4-0. There being no further business, meeting is adjourned.